Hello, friends. How's everyone doing? Hope all is well with you and your family. Hope you're doing well. As you know, we've been covering a lot in real estate, right? And if you haven't get a chance to watch previous videos, please go back and watch. There's all different topics according to, um, their playlist according to the different topics. So watch on those playlists. And also share with your loved one who is, want to learn more about real estate. And I also want to thank you, each and every one of you, from bottom of my heart for all those wonderful comments, your questions, your comments, your like, your subscribe. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Also, when you like the video, when you know, it help also other viewers, other buyers, that they can benefit to learn this knowledge and they can utilize this knowledge in their life, in their loved one's life, right? Because I do get a comments that there is nothing out there well explained as this channel. I try to explain everything in detail for you guys. And this is just my own experience, my real estate career, working in finance, working in the banking world, in real estate world, right? So I try to bring that to you guys. Okay. So let's get back. And I know we've been covering a lot, when you're planning to sell your house. And if you haven't watched those videos, please go back and watch those videos. In our last um, video we talk about, when you're trying to put your house on the market, the major errors you have to check before you put that, on the market. And while the house is on the market, the errors and pitfalls to avoid when you're selling your house. Let's talk today, actually, suppose negotiation, right? There's a lot of questions comes up about negotiating the sale, the home sale, because it does not, guys, it does not have to be intimidating, right? Because by learning the real estate, when you're working a real estate, trying to sell the house or buy the house, it negotiation work, but you have to apply how you can get the best price you want, right? And also the buyer is also happy and they are willing to pay that price because, you know, they want your house. They want to live. They are seeing themselves living in your house. Okay? Because there are two major elements of negotiation. And, when you're trying to sell the house, you have to find, of course, the motivated buyer who want the best deal. And of course, you as a seller, you want the best price, right? Because when you're working under the pressure, of competition or time frame or information or communication, right? Sometimes it gets hectic. So as a seller, as a you know, seller, you have to check the time on the market. You have to check about relocation. You have to check about the pressure of maintaining and upkeeping the property. You have to be ready emotionally, avoid a mental stress, you know, especially if you're going through any, with your family, any distraction, right? So selling your home is a multi-phase process, guys. It has to be, you must avoid allowing allowing emotions to overpower the situation, right? When you settle for lower price. So worrying about paying the mortgage while the home sits on the market, you know, for 6 months, or having to move out of state, these are, it's a very prime pressure point for a seller. And maintaining a home in the showing condition for months on the end can physically wear someone down, because some seller finding the right buyer can be mentally and emotionally straining. Knowledgeable buyer will push to limit, to get the price they want, right? So when facing an informed buyer, remember that the party will be their most option will be you know, them winning in the negotiation, right, process. This buyer may have reached your home's history on the market if you have relocated, or they may assume that you are desperate to sell. They will try to haggle for lower price, correct? Because on the flip side, if the buyer thought you had three other buyers waiving higher offer, they would have to raise the price or walk away, correct? So sharpen your sense to know when a buyer does not have other property option, or they are only interested in your house. Because perceptions have profound influence in that negotiation process. Because if an interested buyer, they believe you have rejected the offer that were higher, right? You have that upper hand. You Because on the flip side, if the buyer may inform you of interest in other homes or pressuring you to accept the offer, right? So stay calm, stay focused in the process to avoid those costly mistakes, knowing your buyer's motivation without exposure, giving up. So time pressure is unescapable in the world of sales. It's evidence during, suppose antique auction, construction job, bids, car sales, right? Time is a powerful negotiation tool. So for the reason, smart home shopper will obtain as much as information about the seller as they can, right? Suppose, for example, if a buyer knows a seller is in foreclosure and they must sell before losing the property, the buyer has the upper hand because they know the seller is under the time constraint, correct? And they use that knowledge to make lowball offer. The buyer might also play, they are not, because they know the history of the property, correct? So suppose if the seller, they are behind on the mortgage payment, they are recent to retire or under contract for another home, depend on the home sale, right? For high pressure tactics from the savvy buyer. Because sometimes buyer may come to you and ask you those questions to find out if any of the situations apply to you, right? Say, because it can be a powerful tool in price negotiation, correct? Because the from the buyer's perspective, the longer the house has been on the market, the more flexible the seller will be, correct? It same applies to the negotiation process. The more buyer prolong the time spent in the negotiating the sale, the more likely they will get the price they want. So buyer will invest time with you to create the relationship, to create that trust and willingness on your part to agree, you know, to the terms. So the advantage for is that they may walk out or they may not, walk out after gaining your trust. So by exertion patience, you can maintain the price and the terms. So that's why, guys, I try to bring this awareness to you guys and try to teach everything what goes in home selling process. And thank you so much for those wonderful comments that remind me that how much you guys are learning from this channel, from all those videos. And because the more, knowledgeable you are, that will overpower the less informed, you know, right? When you're trying to sell your house. And then on top of that, also, nobody is taking advantage of your naiveness. When you don't know, you don't know. But the person, when they know it, they take advantage over you. Right? They are experienced. They are already done this over and over and over, correct? And for you, it's the first time. You never done that before. And that goes everything in life. So definitely they will be taking advantage of you, your naiveness. And that's why I'm trying to bring all this awareness to you guys. So you or your loved ones don't get, taken advantage of. So, and ask the question, guys. Don't avoid the question. Don't be, if you have a questions, ask up. Because it's a financial transaction for you guys, right? It's a professional transaction between two strangers. And don't be unnecessarily forthcoming either. Because when the buyer asks what appears to be a tough question that may relate to an offer, she is looking for the direct and honest answer. And throughout my all videos, I've been trying to remind you guys, put yourself in other person's shoes. Don't take advantage of other people. Give honest answers. You don't want that to happen to you or to your family, correct? How you treating the other person, do you want that happen to you? Do you want that happen to Your family, your loved ones? No, you don't. So a simple, effective, you know, way to handle a tough question without giving, don't get frustrated when somebody asks question, just answer it. Because the reason they ask that question, if it's only pertaining to the property, okay, they don't need to know all your life story, right? Because it's just pertaining to the real estate property, okay? That's the only time you need to answer whatever related to that property. So, and ask them how, if they are planning to buy, how soon they are planning to move in, how long they've been looking, right? So facing the question on the pricing of your home should not be difficult if you have put serious thought into your asking price. If you based it on professional market, you value the estimate, tell them. Do not forget to point out, the recent sale or the comps of the homes or any improvements you made, right? Because competitive offers from other interested buyer is also a concern for the home shopper. Because if they ask you about this briefly, you can let them know when you will be accepting all the offers. So, and you don't need to let them know what are the other offers, correct? So, and sometime buyer, they ask why the home is not sold yet, or if you can tell them, you're waiting for the perfect buyer, right? Or if they are looking for the lowest price for you, will, what lower price you will take, or any negotiation room there, right? And you can also let them know, you haven't much time to think about, and ask the price they have in mind, adding into as long as the offer is negotiable, right? So you have, when dealing with the buyer, keep your objective in mind to sell your property. Answer question thoughtfully, right? And managing your also response, asking uh, them to make sure that they are definitely interested in the property. So also, with your real estate, if you working with the agent, make sure that they don't also reveal any sensitive information about your, you know life story, because that's none of buyer's business or none of buyer's agent's business, correct? Nobody's business except your business. So these are the, you have to keep in mind all these do's and don'ts you have to consider when you're selling the home in a business transaction. Although it's like multi-layered process that feel personal for you. It's simply a buyer negotiation, to purchase a seller's home for an agreed upon price. You as a seller but must keep this fact in mind, right? Opinions, emotions, ego that may attempt to derail your effort, you have to be careful about. Because the more you know about, these points, when I'm trying to bring these points to you guys, that can, the more, the less you likely to create a, needless detour during the sale process. So be patient, guys. When detailing, when interested buyer is looking to, let them explain what they are looking for. Okay. Let them, because that's what they are looking for, they will let you know. Or what kind of offer they are willing to give you to you guys. That offer either uh, be an offer that you can accept, or you will at least have, like, you know, more knowledge about pricing or negotiating in mind, correct? And because even the simplest of sale transaction, agreeing on price, it's often including meeting, in the middle, correct? The point is, when a buyer submit an offer to you, unless it's like really, really fantastic one, right? You you should bring counter offer to the table, perhaps a different price or the concession, such as, shorter closing date, any terms modification, or any contingencies or incentives, right, that buyer is asking for. You know, you can also bring these points that you want, these terms, what date you want to close, what are the terms modification, what are the contingencies needed to be clear, or any incentives they are asking for, right? So that will also enter into the transaction negotiations. When reviewing the offer, be sure to consider items that would be unacceptable to you. A counter offer is used to, in effect, accept some or most of the terms of the buyer's latest offer while modifying other items. Because since there is no limit to the amount of time counter offers can be made, right? Make sure the buyer will have to also wait for your response, right? Because and give them the time frame, the days you will respond it to them, because it's a business demeanor, right? Remind yourself that you want to sell your house for the best price in the shortest time, correct? That is your goal when you're trying to sell your house. Because seller buyer relationship come in all, matters, because no matter what ensures that selling your home is legal, documented business, it's a documented business transaction. Because home selling has a way of sneaking into one's emotional, triggering sometimes negative responses. Because if the buyer has inflated ego and they act like they know it all, you need to make sure that it does not affect you. And on the flip side, if the buyer comes off, as sweet as kind as but somewhat financially troubled person you ever met. So do not let that disguise you from your goal of getting a fair deal. Stay on your toes even if the sale is going along quickly and painlessly. Because sometimes it's an indication that the buyer might back out of the deal, right? There need to be certain amount of discussion between both parties to keep the buyer from jumping ship from one house to another or same as on your part, right? It's like they call it seller's remorse. So you may sense afterward that the buyer would have been willing to pay more for your home. So don't let your ego get the best of you guys, because during the negotiation, there may be a time when you think of all the labor, all the time you have invested into getting your house sold, the hours upon hours spent on cleaning, on staging, on showing, on communicating. And it's like suddenly all the flood of emotions came through, because you may wonder if it was in vain when faced with the buyer who are critically rude, who are critically demanding, correct? So retaliation in a like manner can break a deal. So learn to deal with the potential home buyers objectively, okay? And don't let your ego, guys, get in the way of good deal, right? Because once the good deal is gone, it's gone. That's it. So selling is you have to be careful. It's the negotiation, like we covered in previous videos we've been covering, right? The counter offers we covered, right? The potential buyers, sometimes they include certain, like, personal property. They want appliances free, or they want window treatments, or because these items are must have that are expensive to purchase, sometime new. So as a seller, you can use extra, if as a bargain chip, that you will give all that for free. You may make counter offer that include the prices or other incentives for the buyer to agree to higher price, correct? So this is a particularly useful when demand for homes in your neighborhood is weak and prices are low. So when you are selling your home, consider what you are willing to throw in to sweeten the deal and what items are definitely off the limit. Okay. Me like let me tell you guys for example, you can say, major appliances, any dishwasher, a washer or dryer or fridge or stove, or draperies, curtains, blinds, shutters, custom built furniture, bookcases, shelves, right, that fit in particular spot in the house, barbecue or a fire pit or a patio furniture or a planter or a garden benches, right? Ornaments and garden sheds, lawnmower, power wash, leaf vacuum, maintenance equipments, right? Recreational recreational equipment, right? Such as like table tennis or ping pong or a pool table. So another one is above ground pools, trampolines, climbers, swing sets, hot tubs, or any prepaid taxes that you already paid on the property. Any hot tubs. So, or a landscaping or a pool cleaning or a maid service. So the decision making process is relatively simple if you consider what items you are willing to be part of the sale, and also consider, guys, how often you use movable items and the cost and replacement of those. You can offer many other kind of incentives. A buyer may request an incentive in the transaction. It's all part of the negotiation, right? By request, or seller incentives may include like a reduction of asking price or seller point or help with the down payment. They help with the closing cost, right? Or they offering to close in a short time. They are offering transaction like, transferring their home warranty on the property. They are offering like prepaid property taxes or for 1 year. Any payment or any HOA fee, any landscaping, any pool maintenance, any mortgage buy down, correct? So these, this, the list is extensive. If you get, you want to discuss each of these with your agent before agreeing with the buyer, because there may be a restriction placed on the agent side of their agency laws, right? So, and also lenders, don't forget that, guys. Lenders and the bank who are lending the loan for the buyer or for the property, right? They have to also buyer's credit. They have a limit on that. You have to discuss that with the lender also. They must be properly disclosed, guys, honestly disclosed upfront. And I've been saying that to you guys over and over, right? So be sure to stay within the limit of the laws. And also, suppose the house has been on the market and you have to understand why the home don't sell. The homes that do not sell for extended period, guys, because they are usually priced too high or they are too pricey for that neighborhood strategy. And strategic pricing will always be the top reason why homes sell successfully. Okay. And the home, also another key thing you have to keep in mind, that if the home is too cluttered or the piles or the stack of stuff, that also discourage the buyer, because the home interior is dated. It's an old style trimming or flooring, or you know that it needs to be upgraded, necessary to freshen up the decoration, because homeowner is not flexible, if the homeowner is also not flexible with the showing. So plan ahead to ensure, the kids, the pets, everyone are ready to show at their time, right? We've been covering all that in detail before, right? So the homeowner is need to be flexible. The home is located or in an abandoned development, like a housing crash. You guys might remember in 2008 that left many houses empty in many neighborhoods, right? Because it was a great mess with the lending world, with the banks, with the lenders. They created a big mess. And when they gave the loan, they did not educate the home buyer, and it was the lenders' greed that all, you know, homeowners has to face. So another thing is, that because if the real estate the agent, they do not perform the comparative market analysis correctly, and they fail to provide strategic pricing for the home, that could be the problem. So you have to keep all that in mind, you know if you're planning to sell the house by yourself, right? And that's why I'm trying to bring all these different points for you guys. And you have to figure out that, are you ready to handle your own, all this, what we covered, dealing with all these details. So that is the reality, today's market, the selling and purchasing of residential property, it involves many people, right? Um, and to finalize your home sale of your house, correct? And because no matter how long you have lived in that home, correct? You still have to know how to price it, how the laws work, how all this business transaction will go through. Okay. And if you trying to market with the agent, they usually charge 6 to 8% of the selling price, correct? And that can help you definitely. So that's why, guys, I'm trying to bring all that to you guys, that if you're willing to sell the house by yourself, these are the points you have to consider when you know trying to sell it by yourself. Because the decision to sell your home, it requires seeing the total price picture, from start to finish. It would help you, now after I explain all that to you guys thoroughly, to understood what it involves in selling your home quickly, correct, and profitably. Okay. You should consider avoid any trouble in the process, and to eliminate any misunderstandings by you, right? Your or by your agent or any interested buyer. So selling your home before you are qualified to buy another, right? And guessing that you will, your mortgages pay off, what are the penalties if you pay it off early, and then also make sure that you understand all the closing costs. It will involve the calculation fees, the taxes, right? So talk to your lender to see, you know, that you are planning if there's any penalties if, you're trying to sell the house or paying off the mortgage early or anything like that. You have another thing you have, if you're hiring an agent um, to help you, there will be a commissions involved that need to be paid, right? And there's a, make sure that we covered all that, um, be careful not to spend earnest money deposit given by the buyer when they start, send you the contract, correct? And don't, another thing, appraisals, correct? Your appraisal of the property if they are getting the loan. The stress of showing, remodeling, cleaning, phone calls, dealing with the, continuously with the agent, with the buyers, facing any inspection requirements, know what is expected for your home to pass, being prepared for a closing. Your attorney, your agent should be helping you if any questions come up, and they should be letting and guiding you what to expect. When I work with my sellers or buyers or investors, they know everything. I explain them A to Z. What are the process? What's going to happen now? Next step, next step, next step. I keep guiding them. So they feel that they are totally involved in the process, because as we, when we started, that's a big, big financial step in any seller, any buyer, any investor's life, correct? So you have to be prepared for all these, closing costs, the agent, the attorney, the title companies, all closing costs involve the taxes you have to pay, the city tax, the state tax, right? All those gonna be involved. You have to, be prepared, and also talk to your lender, what is the loan balance after you sell the house, what's gonna happen, what, so you are not expecting something else. Another thing is you have to be flexible, to show your house, make preparations. You're showing it do not interfere with your family and your life. You have to put the time frame that this is the time, they can come and see the property. And or if you are letting the buyer see your home in your absence, because buyer do prefer to view home without the seller present, you know standing there right behind their back listening to their critiques. So your agent should feel any questions, they should help you and guide you. And another thing you have to learn, um, how you can weed out the non-qualified buyer who are not even qualified to buy your house. Okay. So these are the point, and the creative finances, and that how the terms, if the buyer is not eligible even to buy your house and they are just wasting your time, right? And time you don't have because you have to move on, wherever you need to move on to different house. You have to be prepared. There's a lot goes in that too, guys, right? So hope all this help you guys. We covered a lot in, how you can sell your home in the time frame, shortest time frame, and the, you know, max price you are looking for according to the market, correct? And find those perfect buyer for your home so you can move on with your life and you can find a perfect house for yourself wherever you are planning to move with your life. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much for your time, and I will talk to you soon. And and hope all this help you guys. And you know, take care of yourself and your family. We'll talk soon. Thank you. Again, this is Ruby Kaur Singh with the Real Estate News School, and I'm trying to bring all that answers and guidance for you guys. And thank you so much. Take care.